Thanks for joining us this hour. I'm David Matlin coming to you live from Tel Aviv with the latest, and there is a lot going on. Now, a single rocket was fired at Israel from the Gaza Strip overnight, all as hundreds of Palestinians again clashed with Israeli police in Jerusalem and rioted along the Gaza border, all amid a serious flare-up of violence and tensions with the Palestinians on virtually all fronts. Now, the renewal of unrest in the south came after Jerusalem saw some of the worst violence in years, with nearly 300 Palestinians and dozens of Israeli police officers wounded in riots in the old city and elsewhere since Friday. Hamas and the Islamic Jihad in Gaza have also threatened to further retaliate against Israel should the tensions in Jerusalem continue. Clashes have been ongoing in the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of East Jerusalem, all over the pending eviction of several Palestinian families from homes claimed by Jews. Our defense correspondent Jonathan Regev is there in Jerusalem today. Jonathan, we understand we're due to see tensions only continue to be high this week. There were almost 90,000 Muslim worshippers in Jerusalem reportedly last night. Now, we have the confluence, the end of Ramadan and Jerusalem Day coming up. And unrest already this morning. What's the latest?
Yes, first of all, we can report of some unrest inside the old city next to the Temple Mount this morning. And as for the coming days, let's just look at the calendar at what comes ahead. As of this afternoon, Israel will mark Jerusalem Day, the day in which the city was unified some 54 years ago in the Six-Day War. This will come to a climax tomorrow with the flag parade, which is always a controversial issue, always raises tensions. The flag parade in which tens of thousands of Israelis march around the city, including inside the old city with Israeli flags. This will coincide with the last evenings of the holy month of Ramadan for Islam, in which you said it yourself, 90,000 people were here, tens of thousands of people come every night. These two events happening together can draw serious consequences and bring a lot of tension. That will not be the end of it. Ramadan may end in midweek, but next Friday, May 14th, is the day in which the Palestinians mark what they call the Nakba, the disaster as far as the Palestinians are concerned, of the creation of the State of Israel. That is May 14th, coming Friday. And right after that, early next week, the Jewish holiday of Shavuot. All of these incidents always bringing, all of these events always bringing tens of thousands of people, whether Jews or Palestinians, to Jerusalem, especially to the area of the old city, will clearly bring tension. And the challenge, as far as Israeli security forces are concerned, is to make sure that the tension and the potential clashes that we will see here will not make their way to other places in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip.
Thanks for the updates coming to us from the old city of Jerusalem. Our defense correspondent, Jonathan Regev, will be back with you certainly later on for more updates. Now, we're also joined now by IDF Reserve Colonel Alon Eviatar from the Palestinian Affairs expert and former COGAT advisor. Thanks for being with us here. I want to look at some of the recent events leading us to where we are here. We saw the closing of Israel's Highway 1 yesterday with so many busloads of, we believe, Israeli Arab citizens coming down to try to reach Jerusalem here, be part of this rally. And now the police were closing that off. Was that a mistaken tactic by Israel to block off the highway to all those ostensibly worshippers?
It's a good question, Jonathan, because I think that those photos don't look well from outside. You know, when you are sitting in London or New York and watching those photos, which means preventing coming of a lot of prayers from Tel Aviv area or north of Israel to Jerusalem, while the police stop them and prevent them to come to Jerusalem. I think I agree with you that it's not a good atmosphere, but we have to remember that the challenge, and I mean challenge by the main policy of the or interest of the police, is to separate between the majority of the people, the majority of the Muslim areas, to come to Temple Mount, and to separate between them and those who are try to escalate the situation. Those who are considered as provocative people. And the police have to separate between them and not let the negative elements to escalate the situation. And the police have to continue let the religious freedom to enable those who want to pray to continue and come to the Temple Mount. But there are more than hundreds which intended to come by buses and come to the Temple Mount and to escalate and to start or to continue of those violence incidents. And I think that the police doesn't choose between bad and good. The police choose what cause less, which solution cause less incidents.
Certainly,
so I think this is the
local situation. But looking, it's Jerusalem Day tomorrow, Israel's day to commemorate and celebrate the 1967, the reunification of the city here. Now that issue so on display for where it stands today. Is it the right move this year to move all those celebrations forward with full fanfare?
It's right. You mean that I think that the next, I will say, 3-4 days will be the critical days. We have to remember that I want to mention to our audience that the main challenge, the main one, the huge one, if you want, of the Israeli government and the IDF and the police forces is to separate between Jerusalem or the improvement in Jerusalem and the development in Jerusalem and Gaza Strip. I think that the Israeli government prefer to let the Jerusalem Memorial Days and the Islamic days to continue together without a conflict, without violence, but to separate between them and Gaza.
Now, along those lines, we're seeing Fatah and Hamas potentially the rivalry playing out within these tensions here. Now, are there strategies on display? These two different movements really vying for power in this moment?
Well, above everything is the Palestinian election, which Mahmoud Abbas declared already of cancelling, of delayed. And I think that the main interest of the Israeli government is not to involve in this issue. It's Palestinian issue. But we can see that Hamas headquarters, which lead the events from Gaza, try to, I would say, to make the public opinion of the Palestinian side much more supporting Hamas than Fatah. And I think that this is the main target or the main goal of Hamas, to control the whole Palestinian arena, I would say, against Fatah. And Israel is standing between them, but Israel doesn't want to continue involving in these Palestinian issues.
Alon Avitar, thanks for being with us clearly.